Alright, what's good everyone? It's Fear.ing. I'm recording this video on July 13th, 2025. Now, this lesson is on hidden sequential SMT, also known as HSSMT. Now, this is the second video of 3 of this little mini series. The first video you should have watched is the sequential SMT video. You have to watch that in order to understand this concept. Additionally, on top of watching the sequential SMT video, just like I speak about in that video, you have to understand time frame alignment, you have to know the significant highs and lows, and you have to have watched the Day QT YouTube video interview, and of course the basics of ICT. Now, what actually is hidden sequential SMT? So why is it called hidden, in fact? Is because often you may see price reverse without any sort of sequential SMT. It might be thinking that, okay, we don't need the SMT for reversals. But in fact, there is sequential SMT, it is just hidden, such as this. So sequential SMT with the bodies instead of the wicks. That is what hidden sequential SMT is. With regular sequential SMT, we look at the wick high and the wick low of the quarter. With hidden sequential SMT, we look at the bodies. So regular sequential SMT is with the wicks and hidden is with the bodies. So as we can see right here, it is the body low of that quarter. So let's just say we split this in half, and I'm pretty sure I can draw on this page. So let's just say we split it in half right here. Not a clean drawing, but let's just say we split it in half. This is Q1 or Q2, and this is Q3. This is the body low of Q2 and the body high of Q2. We'd be focused on closure below the Q2 body low to identify hidden, and closure above the body high of Q2 during Q3, of course, to identify hidden. Now that is how we use it. It's not, again, same thing with sequential SMT. It's not just any random body within here. It is the lowest point and the highest point of that specified quarter. Now, like we were talking about, or I guess like we'll talk about on, or we did somewhat in the previous video regarding time frame alignment. However, hidden sequential SMT specifically, this is the biggest reason as to why we use time frame alignment in the first place, is to identify hidden sequential SMT. Meaning, we have to spot in microcycle hidden sequential SMT on the 1 minute, 90-minute hidden on the 5 minute, daily hidden on the 15 minute, weekly hidden on the 1 hour, monthly hidden on the 4 hour, quarterly hidden on the 6 hour, and yearly hidden on the daily. Meaning, if again, back here we're trying to identify, let's just say 90-minute sequential SMT, that means we'd be focused on the 5-minute time frame. If you're trying to find 90-minute hidden sequential SMT, but you're on the 15-minute time frame or even the 1-minute time frame, you are going to get inaccurate results and you are going to lose a lot. You have to be on the right time frame in order to get the best results. Now, same thing we talked about in the previous video, and the same thing will apply for all variations of sequential SMT, is that you have to be in line with higher time frame narrative. The overall sentiment of your higher time frame market structure will determine which hidden sequential SMTs we can consider weak and which ones we can consider strong. So we are going to repeat exactly what we said. So any bearish hidden sequential SMT that forms at the highs when we are within the buy side of the curve of a market maker buy model, we can anticipate those to be ran out, invalidated. Why? Because they are fading the higher time frame trends and higher time frame market structure. They can cause a short-term retracement, but they will not cause a long-term reversal. That is the biggest aspect to understand, of course, until our overall buy program is complete. Now, that will be left for a different video to go more in depth on. Nonetheless, for now, your entire focus should be utilizing sequential SMT and hidden sequential SMT in line with higher time frame order flow. And is your first job, the first thing you have to do is to identify what stage of our market maker model we're in, whether we're within the first stage reaccumulation, second stage, first stage redistribution, or the second stage redistribution. Are we within the buy side of the curve or the sell side of the curve? That is the first thing that you have to understand. And again, if you do not properly use this, you will lose, and you will lose a lot. Now, we already went over time frame alignment, and honestly, this is going to be a fairly short video, but again, to properly identify this concept, you have to be focused on this time frame alignment. Now, we'll get into an actual example, and this is a fairly recent example from earlier this month, where, as we can see, we are identifying daily cycle hidden sequential SMT. Why do we know this? Well, let's look at the quarters. 6 a.m., the opening of this Q3, and 12 p.m., the close of that Q3. So we know that is our daily cycles. And we are identifying our daily cycle hidden sequential SMT on the 15-minute time frame. Now, like we were talking about earlier, if you are just looking for regular sequential SMT, you will see that all three indices run out the low. All three indices during Q3 run out the Q2 low. There is no regular sequential SMT here. However, if you actually just look at the bodies, you will see that ES and Q, yeah, we don't run out the body low. YM does. And when I say run out, I mean we close below. I should say specifically, ES closes above, and Q closes above. So during Q3, we close above the Q2 body low. However, YM during Q3 closes below the Q2 body low. That is how you identify hidden sequential SMT. Now, I just make it easy by turning off the wicks. I do not personally do this. I'm just using this as a representation. I really would not suggest getting in the habit of turning off the wicks on your trading view. You need to train your eyes to be able to identify it just like this, because it's very, very simple. You just see body close below, or body close above on ES on NQ, and close below on YM. That is all you need to recognize. So train your eyes to identify it, and you will get it very, very soon. Now, as you can see here in this example, while this is not a trade that I would normally take at all, I just want to give you a reference on how we can utilize it. So hidden sequential SMT can validate reversals the same way that regular sequential SMT can. In this example, I just showed that the first CISD that we get after having that hidden sequential SMT then could have been a valid CISD, and that, as we can see, expanded up, and you can't see it on the chart, but we were targeting a external time-based high, which I believe at this time was the all-time high. But nonetheless, as we know, if we were targeting all-time high, we know that price is extremely bullish. We're in a high time frame market maker buy model, so we're completely focused on longs. Now, of course, my model can be found in the server, so you guys will understand how I trade hidden and regular sequential SMT based off of my trade reviews. Nonetheless, I'm just showing you guys an overall example of how we can have a reversal off of hidden sequential SMT. That's the only point that I'm making here. But very important to utilize this, because again, if you are not, you are going to miss the fact that there is sequential SMT here. It's just hidden. Again, if you're just focused on the foundational sequential, you're going to miss this, because all three of them wick below. It's the bodies that matter. And before I finish off, the whole logic behind that, from what I recall, they talks about the logic with being that the market, the algorithm, whatever he specifically says, it focuses on the closure of candles rather than the open high or low. It focuses on the closure of them, and that's overall the entire logic behind it. And he also does specify that hidden sequential SMT actually is stronger than regular sequential SMT. Now, is that true or not? That will be based off of your own data collection, but I am just saying what I've heard in the past. Now, here's all my socials, and I'll catch you guys all in the third video of this little mini series.